Good evening, everybody. Thank you for your patience. This is Research Roadshow. Today is November 6, 2022, and this edition is dedicated to Julian Assange and the other brave men and women at WikiLeaks. As we said days ago on this channel, we have one of our chief motivations in starting Research Roadshow and before it, Neighborhood News, was to carry on the good work of brave journalists of the past century. And one of the best examples of that is the four principals at WikiLeaks, starting with Gavin McFadden. How's my sound? Charles A. Baker, any indication on the sound? But to continue what I started to say, we started this channel because we saw a very deep need to continue the good work of the journalists at WikiLeaks and to guarantee against a total shutdown of the WikiLeaks platform. As we now know, the usual suspects have been very adept at gaining one by one the names of individuals who leaked to WikiLeaks, specifically or most notoriously the arrest of two members of Navy Intel for their quote unquote conspiracy with WikiLeaks. Okay, let's go into the pick up where we left off in the other broadcast. This gentleman here, Jeffrey Wiegand, is one of the first people that I knew as a whistleblower. Famous in India because he was a biologist, chemist with which it cancer. Okay, am I still there? Charles, can you hear me? Testing one, testing two, testing three. Come in, Houston. We have a problem. All right. All right, I want to continue with the story of Gavin McFadden, who was the mentor for Julian Assange. The gentleman on the screen left is Jeffrey Wigand. Jeffrey Wigand came out in 1998 as a whistleblower against big tobacco, and he said his accusation was that the biologists at big tobacco were genetically modifying certain strands of tobacco to make them more prone to lung cancer. And at the time, this accusation seemed very bizarre, and not many people gave credit to it. But Gavin McFadden did a documentary on Jeffrey Wigand, so several people did get the message, and it started to create some effect. And I'm not sure if the labeling for cancer packages. No, I think that the labeling on cigarette packages earlier than 1997. But this is important because this is a proof. Gavin McFadden was one of the first in the modern era to promote a whistleblower, to make sure that a whistleblower's message got out no matter what. And they were attacked viciously, a little bit like George is being attacked now for what he's saying about coronavirus, the origins of the coronavirus. So Gavin McFadden was was one of the first, and he was one of the principals in WikiLeaks when Julian Assange showed up. Now again, Julian Assange, a programmer, a very top-level programmer, and that is one thing that the deep state fears very much, is apart from citizen journalists, although they are very concerned about citizen journalists, citizen journalists who use a computer talented, driven individual with to contain their narrative. I'm going to get my message out sooner or later. I don't know. It's very strange what's happening by internet right now. It's happening at the same time just before I broadcast yesterday. A very powerful individual in the province of Turin in 1984 took a young girl to the five-star hotel in Turin, the Principe di Piemonte. The night watchman, Giampaolo Barbero, was the maître d'hôtel that night, and he knew that the wealthy individual in question did not have a 14-year-old niece, but this 14-year-old was checked in as the gentleman's quote unquote gentleman's niece. So when this maître d'hôtel, Giampaolo, tried to come forward with this news, they destroyed his life. They completely destroyed his life for the next 22 years. To the point that, and he had been born into a fairly wealthy family himself, upper middle class family. And it cost him over 2 million euro, the equivalent of 2 million euro, trying to defend himself against the backlash of his accusations that this individual was engaging in pedophilia. So, Dave, Charles, am I still transmitting? So what I'm trying to get at is that the WikiLeaks revelation, I knew in 2000 and about the end of 2000 that pedophilia was a thing amongst the top 10%. And I didn't know if there were, in the entire province of Turin, if there were 50 individuals or 500 or 5,000. But what I did know through another colleague, that over 10,000 professionals, lawyers, doctors, psychologists, police chiefs knew about this. They knew this was going on, and they did nothing to stop it. And for a couple of years, I thought, well, maybe it's just in Piemonte. Maybe it's just in the province of Turin. But WikiLeaks confirmed. And remember, 12.8 million documents, not one was ever challenged as to its authenticity. WikiLeaks confirmed for me and my three closest collaborators that it was a worldwide phenomenon. No country was excluded, including the United States. Including the United States East Coast. Did I say Boston? If I forgot to say Boston, I meant to say Boston. It doesn't, it's more important to me the fact that Julian uncovered what was the level of suppression of this information. The dirty act itself is already despicable, but the degree to which they were covering up, using taxpayer money to cover up their crimes, that's what really, really got to me. And that's when I started to spend 60 hours a week trying to uncover this whole mess, at least in my local area, trying to understand, what was the connection between this group of people and our elected representatives at the city and county level? Why were there so many scientists in, scientific names, the names of top scientists in our three major universities connected to some of these groups? What were all these cars gathering at midnight on Saturday for? WikiLeaks went over the top in trying. There were others. There were other groups that were quote unquote exposing the truth. But what Julian's unique contribution was that he found a way to allow a genuine whistleblower to safely communicate, transmit the documents, the receipts to the people that need to have them. So then the usual suspects always had a way to intercept them. So what is my main point before I get caught by the Lord of the Internet? What Julian shows is that there is no substitute for the hard work of a single individual. Like my dad used to say, there's a reason the good Lord sent one man, his son, to set us straight and not a committee. Committees don't get much done. It is the single individual that can make a positive contribution forward, to get people off top to the center, get the group moving in the right direction. And he did. Julian had a very good mentors, in particular Kevin McFadden, and again, I can't remember the name of the other man. But what they did, the WikiLeaks as a group allowed, I can't remember, Anna Maria, one of my neighbors, to take, she was a housewife / accountant. She did a little bit of accounting on the side, and she kind of saw that things weren't right with some of the books that she was looking at for a major firm, medium-sized organization intern. The WikiLeaks gave her the courage to go, and Anna Maria is 5'1", and she can't weigh more than 95 pounds. 60 years old. She had the courage. WikiLeaks gave her the courage to go out and do the hard work, to do the digging, to get at the root of this book cooking, because she knew that somehow the money that was being siphoned off was going towards something dirty. So it is the two words that I want to focus on before I get cut off are the conscience. You don't hear very much nowadays about the conscience of the human being. Julian and the others at WikiLeaks force us, each adult individual, to examine his or her conscience. And it's one thing that the usual suspects do not want. They don't want people to. In fact, we have three recorded cases, black and white, where a judge in the States took the jury aside and said, do not vote on your conscience, on this case or this verdict. You have to use the law. Go by the law, not your conscience. At least three times in the past 20 years. That's already too many. They don't want people to examine their conscience or to vote or to participate in a large group activity with an informed conscience. So WikiLeaks changes in the case of the upcoming midterm elections. WikiLeaks could grossly alter how an individual votes by informing their conscience. A lot of people on Tuesday will go to vote not having any idea what Warnock or Herschel Walker thinks about 7 of the 7 most important issues, because A, they've never been debated, and B, the average voter doesn't know enough to go out and research what either of the two parties thinks about those issues. So their conscience is not informed. We'll bring it up later on Thursday or Friday. The other word is hope, not hopium. A lot of the people out there exposing the truth, between quotes, exposing the truth, are giving us hopium, not hope. Why do I say that? Because it's human nature to want to see some positive, some signs that things are going to be better in the future. The famous William Shatner comment after the Trekkie fans swarmed around him. Reporters asked, William Shatner, what is this thing? Why do so many people flock and want to meet you and touch your Star Trek shirt? And he said, the Trekkies, like a lot of people around the world, want so desperately for the future to be better. That's why they watch Star Trek. They want to believe the future will be better. And so a lot of these, this sentiment is tapped into by most of the channels that are exposing the truth, like what's it called, crowdsource. I can't remember. It's Mr. Not So Good, crowdsource something or other. Hopium is not what we need right now. What Julian does, what WikiLeaks does, is it creates people like my neighbor, Anna Maria, that do something small but significant. And that gives us hope. It gives me hope and my three closest collaborators hope, not only for a better future, but hope that in the next few months, the next few couple of years, there's going to be concrete change. And Professor Hamamoto gave a good example 2 weeks ago. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but Professor Hamamoto gave us evidence that yes, the Ospreys are having an impact. Harry the Greek did a lot of work on European adoption consultants. And the three main defendants, the three who ran the ring at Strongsville for European adoption consultants, all got about a year or a little bit more than a year. They should have each got 15 years, but at least they got a year, thanks to Harry the Greek's hard work, with support for financial and logistical and more from a couple hundred subscribers. But it was mostly Harry's singular, individual hard work, day after day, paying $50 or $80 for each transcript and going over them with a fine-tooth comb. What we need is hope, not hopium. And the hope comes from little victories, those key receipts, those key memorandums, those the key court documents, or Exhibit A or Exhibit B, that show the general public that they're being fooled, they're being lied to by their elected representatives, and worse yet, by the bureaucrats who are there for 30 or 40 years nonstop. Anyway, I think I'm going to close it up here for tonight and continue again on Tuesday afternoon. The one thing I want to close out with is you've got to be boots on the ground. Like A. Baker said, she went to Houston to try to meet up with George, and unfortunately it didn't work out. But we need more of that. We need more people to get out there, to get in the face of our elected representatives, of the judges, of the bureaucrats, make our voice heard, because a lot of those little kids, and remember, the international ring behind European adoption consultants in Ohio is still operating, and those kids have no voice. We have to be their voice. That's why I'm inviting everyone, or everyone in Southern California that can hear me. We're having a charrette from the 16th to the 18th of November, centered around the trial of Mr. Eugene Yu. And we're going to do an update on Mr. Yu tomorrow. Mr. Yu's trial is the focal point for the charrette. We have to have a presence. Our presence will be transmitted through our broadcasts and those of like Peter Duke and the other podcasters. We will transmit this message to hundreds and hundreds of other people, but we need more than the 6 individuals who've already signed up to travel to LA. Please get in touch with me. Send me an email or call me. My number is 440-506-5815. Call me and let me know that you can attend the charrette for any one of the 3 days or for all 3. We'll find you some accommodation. There's already, I think, two rental vans. So transportation shouldn't be a huge problem. Please support this effort. If you can't attend the trial in person, then please send some kind of logistical support. All 3 days after the trial, there will be a online session, trying to plan how to get the word out. So please participate in those. Anyway, I'm sorry I haven't been putting up the comments. I did talk to Tyrone Sargent today, and we are at some point this week or next going to do a joint broadcast to talk about some of the issues such as HR 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow morning we have a Zoom meeting to talk about the different ways we can support George down in Houston, and a couple of other issues. And then tomorrow night, I will be doing an update on the Eugene Yu trial, as well as the True the Vote. Remember, that poor Catherine Engelbrecht, she needs our support like never before. People have to, this is a precedent, this will set a precedent for citizen journalists around the world, at least in the United States. We cannot allow that someone trying to get out the message be held for any reason, but especially in something like contempt of court, under similar circumstances. We can't let this slide. We've got to capitalize on this. A boy named Sue, I think, is the one you're thinking of. A boy named Sue, Dave Fitz. But we should ask Norman or Tyrone to do a parody of A Boy Named Sue. That would be a good one. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for your support. Take good care, and God bless.